Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're gonna be reacting to.
Kpop news. NewJeans faces 1 billion won fine per person for authorized activities. Now, is it per person per activity? Let's see.
Story involves one of K-pop's most closely watched
Why
legal
not?
battles.
It would be. It makes sense. The title says
Per person
fine per
though.
person.
So is it, does it mean like if one person violates it 5 times, is it a 1 billion still because it's one person, or 5 billion because per person per activity? That's what I'm saying.
Are you saying for the NewJeans person or for
Yes.
the
No, it's per NewJeans member.
Oh, I thought it was per fan. Like if I did
No, what fan?
like for example, like okay, I'm doing an unauthorized activity and there's like 10 people that I'm doing engaging the unauthorized activity with. Am I fined 10 or just the one because I'm only me and not the other members? That's why I was understanding.
I mean, I basically said the same thing, just in the reverse order. That you're doing 10 unauthorized activities.
Okay. Oh, that's okay.
That's
Okay,
what I'm
okay,
saying. Yeah.
okay.
The ongoing dispute between NewJeans and their agency, ADOR, on May 30th, the 52nd Civil Affairs Division of the Seoul Central District Court delivered a major decision that significantly restricts the group's current and future activities. Court ruling breakdown. The court has granted a partial injunction in favor of ADOR, meaning that NewJeans cannot carry out any entertainment-related activities,
So
whether solo or as
they're the ones not hype.
What?
The court instructed this.
Yes.
Not hype.
I'm confused though.
How did they can enforce that?
ADOR,
No.
meaning that NewJeans.
I'm confused. How is this any different? Why they doing this now? Because we already knew that there's an injunction. So how did this come about? Like, did Adore escalate something because the girls were doing something, or like because it's a little bit random timing?
NewJeans cannot carry out any entertainment-related activities, whether solo or as a group, without ADOR's prior consent. This includes promotions, appearances, brand deals, and even performances done independently or through third-party entities. This restriction will remain in effect until the court reaches a verdict in the ongoing lawsuit regarding the validity of the group's exclusive contract with ADOR. Mandatory clause, financial penalty. The ruling didn't stop there. The court also imposed a mandatory penalty clause, and it's a costly one. If all members of NewJeans violate this injunction, they will be required to pay 1 billion Korean won, or roughly 729.
If all?
But that's it. If one girl don't do nothing but four do bullshit, they're not don't have to pay. Like, this is so confusing.
$1,000 USD in damages per violation. Let's break that down. The penalty applies per violation and it applies per member. So if all 5 members were to engage in an unauthorized group activity, the financial damages could total 5 billion Korean won.
Oh.
Okay, so but if all 5, I get it, but what if 4 engaged? It doesn't apply anymore? It's not expressed correctly.
More than $3.6 million in just one
That's a
instance.
lot.
On top of that,
Oof.
NewJeans must also cover the legal costs associated with this injunction. Another sign that the court is reinforcing the seriousness of contract compliance in the K-pop industry. The bigger picture, contract validity lawsuit. It's important to note that this injunction is separate from ADOR's main lawsuit, which is focused on confirming the validity of the group's exclusive contract. That lawsuit is still in progress, with the second oral hearing scheduled for June 5th. Until that case is resolved, NewJeans is effectively barred from independent promotions, regardless of the growing tensions between the group.
So as I said, I wonder if Hybe Ador escalated this, like, because we've seen girls like do something, they like, oh, they want to set the record straight or something, or how did this come about? Because this is a little random. You just get this drop out of nowhere. I don't know.
I think the court is just, showing the girls, okay, you have to follow rule of law. So this is like to respect the court. Otherwise, you're in contempt of court. If there already has been an injunction passed.
Now, I guess the question is, who is the fine payable to? The court or
I think
the
this is to the
Hybe?
court.
The court is.
Oh, well, I think there is well, they also cover the legal fees too as well.
Yes.
So that's gonna pull into Hybe into the court too as well. But also, I think you would be held in contempt of court if instructions are given by the judge and people are breaking it. I think maybe some money goes to the court, some money goes to Hybe.
Yeah, this is a little confusing.
And its agency leadership. Netizen reactions. The internet, as expected, lit up with reactions following the court's announcement. This is how it
But
should
technically,
be.
this
Do
is
you think contracts
damages
are a joke?
to Hybe, and also is in contempt of court. Like you're not respecting the rule of law of the courthouse.
Wow, so that's W1.00 billion per person per violation. That's insane. This shows how serious the court is about enforcing industry contracts. This ruling sends a clear message. In the eyes of the court, contractual agreements in the entertainment industry are not to be taken lightly. For NewJeans, the road ahead remains legal.
I mean, this is nothing shocking. I'm kind of common sense what's happening here. It's just I ask, is it because of not because, but is it going to court or Ador? Because who's gonna enforce this? Because Ador, I don't think Ador is gonna take any action. I've been saying it throughout. They have to put up face. They're not gonna take any action. But if it goes to court, I think court could then take action. Because if they, if they see the violation, they're like, okay, you're violating. Because Hybe, I think Hybe will just kind of let it slide for now. For now, I'm not saying ever, but for now. But court, if money goes to court, I think court just might not let anything slide. So I think it's important to establish who gets the fine paid to.
Blackpink Rose
They said Rosé was nobody without Bruno Mars. Seriously?
Rosé's recent interview response sparks backlash. Here's what people are missing. So, Blackpink's Rosé recently did an editorial for Days magazine, and during the interview, she was asked who her favorite One Direction member is. Rosé answered playfully and cautiously.
Oh, she said like Days, man. Oh, Dazed, Dazed.
Oh, okay.
Saying, I do have a favorite, but I know this is going to make headlines, so I want to be careful. It'll cause too much drama. I think to myself, Zayn, then leave it at that. It was clearly a light-hearted comment, yet somehow it sparked unnecessary backlash
Makes
online.
sense.
Some
She likes the
netizens
bad boys. Makes sense.
accused her of thinking she was more famous than she is, mocking her with comments like, she thinks her ass is so popular. You're not famous enough. Sit down. She's only known because of Bruno Mars.
I mean, they don't play, girl. They don't play. That group, One Direction, they protect them, man.
I don't understand, but what did she say wrong about
because
One
the way she
Direction?
said it, she's like, if I say who I like, it's gonna create like a whole commotion. So they're trying to say, girl, you're not that big of a deal.
Oh,
So
okay.
they said the only reason why you
Well,
popular
you're
is
nobody
because of Bruno Mars.
without Bruno Mars charity. Let me just say this.
It's the
that
fan
narrative
base
is
that's
completely
driving
wrong,
her.
and it's time to set the record straight. 1.
No, they're not wrong. The fan base is correct. Without Bruno Mars, she would be not really popular. Even now, most people think that song is Bruno Mars' song, to be honest. But she's getting more opportunities. Her face is more out. So
That's what was supposed to happen in
yes,
that collab.
but if you're gonna go ask a regular person on the street, have you heard that song? They probably have. And who's the song by? They're gonna say Bruno Mars. Like that's just what it is. What it is. Now,
the song with Bruno Mars.
what?
Or they'll say, oh, the song with Bruno Mars? Yeah, I heard about it.
Right? Yeah, nobody would say Rosé. Rosé is even now, like you guys live in your K-pop bubble, so
Yeah,
you
that's
think
normal.
you think that Blackpink and
Yeah.
Rosé they're like these big stars, but not really. They're stepping in the right direction, especially as solo artists now. They're trying to get popular here in the States, and this step with Bruno Mars is a good step for Rosé. But without this collab, she really would be nobody. Like, I think that's correct.
Rosé was already a global star before Bruno Mars. Rosé's fame did not begin with her Bruno Mars collaboration. She was already an international superstar, thanks to her work with Blackpink and her solo success. Her solo
No, Blackpink was international superstars, not Rosé. Nobody would know her as
There's no. Yeah,
like her solo songs. What On the Ground and what's the other song?
gone.
Gone. Those nobody ever heard those songs. Like you gotta stop this.
debut single album shattered records, with the title track On the Ground, achieving over 300 million views on YouTube. She sold millions of albums and headlined major brand campaigns long before working with Bruno. 2. She has the numbers to back it up. If she's not famous, then explain these stats. 83 million Instagram followers, 51 million TikTok followers, 18 million YouTube subscribers, millions of albums sold as
Those followers are all from the Asian countries that are into the K-pop. The people that were making these comments are from the West. In the West, she's really just not that popular. Like, I'm sorry.
a soloist. Multiple sold-out shows and festival appearances. These
Like,
numbers
we watched this. Like, we've seen TikToks where people dance up with it, and somebody asks, "Oh, what is this song?" And everybody's like, "Oh, it's a new Bruno Mars song." Like, literally everybody. And then some, of course, the Blackpink fans is like, "Oh no, it's actually Rosé song." Nobody cares. Regular people think it's Bruno Mars song.
don't just come from a single collaboration. They come from years of dedication, a loyal global fan base, and proven star power. 3. Blackpink isn't just popular. They're a phenomenon. Rosé didn't come from obscurity. She's a core member of Blackpink.
When I first learned of G Dragon, I was so shocked of that, how big he is, and then to see his social media presence, but that doesn't mean he's known worldwide. It's just in that niche, in that corner of the internet, he's known.
Yeah.
But the internet is so vast that you can't say, oh, everyone should know. It's not true. And there's many people like that, like for example, explaining like to Congress people, or explaining to people what's a Mr. Beast, or what's a streamer that's popular right now, who they are, to someone who's not in that space. Like people
Yeah.
have to realize to get out the bubble.
Like, I think the Mr. Beast is a great example you just gave. Like, he has like what, 100 million subscribers on YouTube. Ask regular person who he is, they won't know who the fuck he is.
Walk on the street, but
He
they're not
he,
gonna know
he
who
can
he
walk
is.
on the street and most people won't know what he look like. The kids probably will,
Yeah.
but the older people, they ain't not gonna know what he look like. So this is not even about Rosé. It's just
It's just people think that, wow, this is like 83 million is a lot, but that's just like a drop to what the internet encompassed.
Yeah.
The internet, I don't know how many people could be on the internet.
The most followed girl group in the world, with nearly 100 million subscribers on YouTube. Blackpink has performed at Coachella twice, sold out world tours, and broken record after record in music, social media, and brand partnerships. Even the least popular member of Blackpink, which is arguable, is more successful than entire groups combined. And here's another thing that needs to be said. Most of the time, when hugely successful K-pop artists collaborate with Western artists, people act like it's the Western artist doing them a favor, as if the success of the collab only comes from the Western side. It's frustrating how often K-pop idols
I think that depends what kind of Western artist, because
Yeah.
sometimes Western artists, they're on the downhill in their career.
Yeah.
They use the K-pop artists to maybe get Asian popularity and revive their career. But Bruno Mars is not on the downhill of his career.
No.
He just had a collab with Lady Gaga that's breaking records. Now with Rosé, this also breaking other records. So he's definitely not a downhill. If she collabed with I don't know, Missy Elliott, let's say, okay, then we could say
You-
Missy
you-
Elliott is trying.
You want to hear a funny example? Rosé said she only discovered listening to Bruno's Mars music maybe 2 years ago.
She did say that, yes.
That shows you that people live in their bubble.
Yeah.
Bruno Mars is a major person in the music
Yes,
industry.
and-
with Grammys, awards. It's someone you want to have collab with in the future in your career.
Yeah, and when we first heard that, we were sitting here, how is
We're
that
like,
possible?
how is that
You in music industry.
possible?
But it just shows that,
There's a bubble.
yeah, there's a bubble in Asia. Bruno Mars maybe is not as popular as he is here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just is what it is.
And maybe that's why there's a lot of commotion, you know?
and their fandoms are downplayed in these conversations. People ignore how powerful and loyal the K-pop fan base is. They treat support from K-pop fans like it matters less than support from Western fans, which is simply not true. K-pop fans drive record-breaking sales, dominate global charts, and have helped turn K-pop into a global movement. But the second a K-pop artist does a collab, people act like they were irrelevant before. And that's completely unfair. 4. The Bruno Mars argument is weak.
Well, again, if they were irrelevant in the States, in the West, they're not irrelevant in Korea. So we have to like distinguish what we're talking about.
Let's be real, Bruno Mars is a legend. But to claim Rosé is nobody without him is not just disrespectful, it's laughable. One collaboration doesn't erase years of hard work and success. Also, do you really think Bruno's fans bought 4 million copies of her 2025 solo album just for one song? Rosé built her career on her own talent and global appeal. Bruno didn't make her. He collaborated with her because she's already that artist. 5. She was joking. Why so pressed? Finally, her comment in Dazed was clearly tongue-in-cheek. She knows anything she says makes headlines. Because it often does. That's not arrogance. That's just reality. She wasn't claiming to be bigger than One Direction. She was simply being playful.
I don't know how I feel about this shirt. It's like a knockoff Lakers jersey. Like, are you even allowed to wear it? Because it's clearly knockoff.
And cautious, knowing how media and fans like to twist things. Conclusion: you don't have to be a fan of Rosé to recognize her achievements. Downplaying her career or suggesting she's irrelevant without a male artist's help isn't just sexist.
I don't think it has anything to do about his gender. Like, same if she had a Taylor Swift collab, you would be saying the same thing. I don't think this has nothing to do with...
I wonder what it would be the conversation if it was Taylor Swift, though.
The same conversation, I think. Well, if the song would blow up. The song did blow up. So now that's why we're having this conversation. If the song didn't blow up, then we wouldn't be having the conversation. NewJeans break silence on the 1 billion won KRW penalty.
There's a new development in the legal fight between NewJeans and their agency, Adore. This is not about their main
What do
lawsuit.
you think they're gonna do? They're gonna accept accountability or say this is an injustice?
Who, NewJeans?
Yeah.
I mean, they might say this is injustice, but still follow it. Kind of have no options here.
Yet, it's a separate penalty to enforce the court's March decision, which temporarily banned them from doing entertainment activities without agency approval. Now, NewJeans has officially responded to this. In a statement released on May 30th, their legal team explained that this new penalty is temporary and is just a part of the earlier injunction process. They said the main case, which is an appeal against the original ban, is still ongoing. They also pointed out that if NewJeans wins the appeal, this new $1 billion fine will no longer apply. According to their team, these kinds of fines, called indirect compulsory enforcement, are standard legal practice in civil cases like this. They're not permanent decisions, but a way to make sure court orders are followed. The court also mentioned that NewJeans was seen doing overseas activities, using the name NJZ, which the judge considered a possible violation. Meanwhile,
So I think this is talking all the way back about that Japanese performance, like in March, I think. That's what this is about.
both sides are still fighting over whether the contract between NewJeans and Adore is valid. In the first court hearing, Adore said they were open to settlement, but NewJeans' side made it clear they do not.
Yeah, I mean, NewJeans' response is reasonable.
Yeah, they say we're going through the process.
So that's
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that
It
statement.
was mature.
Yes, I think the attorneys crafted it. Sounds like a very draft attorneys would craft.
Yeah. But I think this we would also get like what do you call stories of like in small font saying, oh, this is unfair, injustice, or side comments. But I'd like that they're handling
Yeah,
this
that's-
strictly with their attorneys. This is
Yeah,
mature.
I think this was appropriately handled.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.